And we are live. Welcome back or welcome to the Truth Comes to Light podcast. I'm your host, Jay Colvin, and welcome to the show. In the Truth Comes to Light podcast, I talk about live news, live coverage from all across the world. We talk about the music industry, and we talk about a whole lot of more things. Be sure to check out my last podcast about the little baby. Is he falling off? Talking about all these different topics, to say the least. Also, be sure to check out my Real Spill Wednesdays. Every Wednesday, I talk about life topics and motivational quotes that I feel like y'all need to hear, because if no one else tells y'all and give you positive motivation or real topics that we can actually talk about and agree to, why not I? So, with that being said, and also, if you have any real spill ideas, because I have a whole list, but if you have any real spill ideas or any podcast ideas that you want me to talk about, please just give me a comment. Also, please give me a thumbs up on this video. Subscribe to the channel. Also, follow my TikTok and Instagram at the Truth Comes to Light podcast. With that being said, let's get straight to it, because I have a whole lot of topics, but I want to get into this topic right away because this is actually funny to me. SHEIN catching a YSL case? Catching a RICO? I didn't even know you could catch a RICO as a high fashion company. Like, I just thought that was just crazy to me. I just thought that was just for criminals. Like, I just thought it was RICO for criminals. Like, I didn't know that it was for, you know, these high brand companies too. I did not know that. So it says SHEIN was named in a RICO racketeering and copyright infringement. The 52-page lawsuit reports that SHEIN steals designs from small and private businesses. SHEIN also has an algorithm that makes them predict future trends in the clothing industry, so that way they can hop up on the fulfillment and the production before it even comes out. They also have something that's quite tricky for other people to catch on to and to convict them of it, because they only sell 100 to 200 units of the product. So by the time the product is gone, a small amount of people got it. So what's the chances of one of the people that ends up buying their product off their site say, hey, this is my design, we need to do something about it? So the small percentage that happens causes them to steal all the revenue, because it's a one in a million chance that this could actually happen. So this is all reported by the Shade Room, along with other sites out there that have been talking about SHEIN and the racketeering charges and the copyright infringement. Let me tell y'all something. Every brand does some sort of copying or taking ideas from another brand. You got Microsoft taken from Apple. You got Guess taken away from Gucci trying to copy their designs. So everybody does some sort of copying. In sports, do you think everybody is going to play fair? Everybody's going to do some sort of cheating. It's just a matter of if you get caught. You got StockX making a replica of shoes, Jordans, Air Maxes, any shoe out there. What is that? That's basically copying from the actual store that made the shoe. So everyone out here is going to do some sort of copying, some sort of cheating, but it's just a matter of if you get caught. SHEIN is out of country. TikTok is out of country. You see what they're trying to do to TikTok, the US? They're trying to get TikTok banned. They're trying to get SHEIN out of there. And do you want to know who's going to be next? Temu. Because Temu, how the hell you get all of these shit on your site and you only sell them for $1.49? There's something got to be up. And all these people can also get the shit for free if they do the presents and stuff like that. So I just feel like with SHEIN, their algorithm, they have it set up so perfectly because of the simple fact they only sell 100 to 200 units of what they have at a time. So by the time, and SHEIN is a high fashion company, so by the time that is also sells out, let's say that it sells out, which is gonna sell out pretty fast, what are the chances of someone who actually buys their product be like, hey, they're copying? Which is why this has probably been going on since SHEIN started. And the fact that they just have this great algorithm of predicting clothes, it's gonna be hard for the judge to find them guilty. Now, see, the only reason why they have to go into deep investigation about it is because this is not the first report that has came out about them copying other designs and other people's stuff. But the fact that SHEIN copies small, sometimes big, but really the people that are complaining about it are small companies. Your small companies are not going to have the people software lookouts. They're also not going to have any brand lookouts to tell them like, hey, like this is our logo, this is our design, you're copying. We need to do something about it. The fact that you're low and you're just starting off, you're not going to have the funds to have all of that stuff built up. And that's the thing. So it will be literally impossible for them to actually get found guilty with it. Now, see, the plaintiff, they're trying to say that this has been going on every day. They believe that it's been going on every single day. They do nothing but copy other people's designs, steal their designs, and they sell it for however much and take all the revenue. But how are you going to physically prove that? How are you going to physically prove that? There's no way that you're physically going to prove that they actually take your design because of how many, like the quantity of their units that they end up selling is too little. What are the chances for it being high market, a high company out there? Is just the fact that by the time you try and get your hands on the item, 9 times out of 10, the item is gonna be gone. So it's going to be very interesting to see how they end up investigating and if they can end up finding them guilty. Because I honestly think they can't. It's going to be very hard. It's not like I said, with Microsoft taking Apple, they're taking Apple's visual displays. It's not like with Guess how they take Gucci's literally logo right here in the center of your chest. You're not going to take it. Like it's hard for you to find them guilty of copyright. And like I said, everyone copyrights out here. Everyone is going to copy or cheat. It's just a matter of if you get caught. And I think with them being so low in regards to their brand and where they are in the brand, I feel like SHEIN can just continue to do this over and over and over again, which probably they've been doing this whole entire time. But we are just now finding out about it now, which is interesting. This is not the only complaint. They also said that multiple other people have been complaining about this same issue that SHEIN has had, so they had to have taken an investigation. This is a live investigation, an active investigation. So I really am interested because the fact that SHEIN is literally catching a RICO over selling bikinis and sandals is crazy. That's not the only thing that they sell. I'm just playing, y'all. But the fact that they catching a RICO over some sandals and some bikinis, like, what? I didn't even know that was possible. So it's really crazy that it's not, it's just not, I don't know, it's just not making sense to me. Like, how is it possibly a RICO and a copyright? And then, like I told y'all before, it's just they sell so little units. So how is it? Is it because they're big and they're just trying to knock them down because they're in a whole nother country? Just like with TikTok, they had something to say about TikTok. So I really feel mixed about it. Maybe they are copying, but everybody copies to some extent. It's just a matter of if you get caught, like I said. But are they really just trying to catch them because they are copying? Or are you trying to catch them because of a whole nother reason and they're from a whole nother country? That's going to be the main thing. That's the main thing for me. And I just feel like it's impossible for them to just figure out a way to find them guilty and to find them, not being able to be at that top spot that they're at right now. It just doesn't make sense to me, y'all. It just doesn't make sense. Another case that's going on right now that has been catching my attention is a YNW Melly case. YNW Melly, for y'all who don't know, is a rapper by the name of Jamel Demus. He got caught back in 2019 of a murder of his two friends, YNW Juvie and YNW Sack Chaser. The rapper was made big hits such as Mixed Personalities, Suicide, Blue Balenciagas, and more. Was found guilty not found guilty. He was actually caught and apprehended in 2019, early 2019, back in February. And the case just went to trial back in early July. And what's really interesting about this case compared to other murder cases by rappers, such as Tay-K, such as K-Flock. With those rappers, you had an abundance of evidence. With Tay-K, he cut off his ankle monitor. He had a music video by the name of The Race where he basically talked about the murder, and when he went on the race, when he cut off his ankle monitor and he was caught in Brooklyn. You have K-Flock on 4K wearing chains and wearing all of this designer stuff on camera. So that's just substantial evidence. But with Melly, on the other hand, Melly, no one's telling on him. They brought a witness to the trial, and he said that Melly changed clothes after the murder. They saw him in a different pair of clothes after the murder, but that doesn't really give you enough evidence to charge him with murder. They're also trying to bring up the fact that he takes his mom a certain way by cursing at her, doing all of this. And if he takes his mom all of this cursing and derogatory language, what makes him think that he'll care about killing his two friends? The defense, Melly has a great defense team, by the way. But Melly's defense team was saying, like, you can't use that because the jury, with being a jury, you cannot have any biased opinion towards nothing. Just because he takes his mom a certain way, you got to look strictly at the evidence that is presented to you. You can't just be like, oh, he takes his mom a certain way, why would he care about his friends guilty? Nah. So the judge his defense was trying to tell the judge that they need to have a mistrial because of that. Even though the judge denied it, that was still a great point that you can use towards the case. Another thing that the prosecutors tried to do, they tried bringing up YNW Melly's Murder on My Mind lyrics in the song, but they can't even use that in court. The judge said you cannot use that in court. So with that in mind, they really don't have nothing on Melly, to be honest with you. Do I personally think that he did it? I personally think that he did it, but there's not enough evidence for you to charge him with murder, double murder of his two friends. Now, granted, the only thing that you can use is the phone text messages. So maybe in the jury, since they denied it, they can use that and be like, oh, he doesn't care. But at the end of the day, is that enough evidence to prove that you committed the murder? They couldn't find the murder weapon. The murder weapon is still nowhere to be found. Number one, like I said. Number two, they can't use Murder on My Mind. They can't use the lyrics that are in the song. That's number two. Number three, his brother, YNW Bortland, ain't telling on him. No one's telling on him. Nobody's telling on him. The witness that they did bring was in the other car. All four of them went to the studio with the witness to have a 12-hour session. But after that was done, he was in another car with another group of people while Melly was in the other car shown in the video. So he couldn't get a clear cut shot on, hey, he killed the two people that was in the car. He just can't. There's no evidence towards him actually committing the murder. So unless the jury, as of right now, because this is an active trial and there hasn't been no trial going on and it's not going to go on until Monday. So as of right now, with the evidence and the information from all the witnesses that has been provided, the only thing that they can use, which I feel like is BS, is the text messages between the mom and the fact that he changed clothes after the murder and left with Fredo Bang, another rapper. But to me, that's not enough evidence. Is that enough evidence to y'all? Well, all these other rap cases that have been going on, for an example, the Young Thug case, which we'll get to in a second, there's evidence. People are snitching on him. People are snitching on all of those rappers. TK, like I said, substantial evidence. From cutting off his monitor to a whole aggravated assault case, there's evidence in that case. With K-Flock, 4K video, 4K picture of what was going on. There's evidence in that case. With YNW Melly, there's little to no evidence in the case that can definitively say that, hey, he committed the murder of his two friends, YNW Juvie and YNW Sack Chaser. Little evidence. You can't just go based off of lyrics, because everybody's going to talk. You got rappers out here that talk about murder, but they ain't even like that. Everybody's going to talk about something. Some just going to talk about one thing that maybe they're about. Some may talk about that same thing and they're not about it. It just depends. But everybody's going to talk about something. But these rappers nowadays will talk about killings and they're not about killing. It just doesn't make sense. But with Melly, in his defense, his great defense in my opinion, I think he'll get off. He'll either get off or not be charged with first degree. He's not going to take a plea. He's not going to. Because he can tell that they don't have enough. There's videos of him laughing, literally laughing in court. Him and his lawyers laughing in court. So with them laughing in court, that just shows to everybody watching the case, like myself, they don't really have enough evidence on him. They don't have enough evidence on him. Compared to someone like I just told y'all in this segment, who they have a whole lot of evidence on. Young Thug. Man, free Young Thug, by the way. Nah, I'm playing, y'all. But with Young Thug and his RICO case, another RICO case that we're going to talk about, the 88 page, not 52, the 88 page indictment was basically stating all of the crimes that they were committing, that young stoner life is a street gang, how the street gang violence has been going up in Atlanta by over 60%. And most of those crimes have been caused by the YSL gang. So with the Young Thug situation, now mind you, there was a whole lot of people charged in the YSL RICO case. Most of them were taking Alfred pleas. For an example, his partner Gunna, another big rapper, he had an Alfred plea and he ended up taking it. You had other of his co-defendants that were taking pleas and getting less time than what Young Thug might get. But some of the people that were taking pleas in the case, one of the things that they have to do is testify against Young Thug if they get called to trial, which I feel like they are going to get called to trial 9 times out of 10, and they're going to have to tell on them. With Gunna in the Alfred plea, he's basically, if he likes what's going on, he doesn't have to, he basically maintains his innocence. He can maintain his innocence, but basically state what's going on, but maintain his innocence in it. So he was only tried with 1 count of conspiracy to commit racketeering, while Thug decided to keep his mouth shut, and now who is the leader of the YSL gang, he's charged with all of these crimes. And with all of these people snitching on him, saying that YSL is a gang, YSL has been committing all of these crimes, and most of the crimes, the street gang crimes, the street activity crimes that have been going on in Atlanta have been committed by Young Thug, YSL's gang. Young Thug is fried. There's no cutting the cake any type of way. Young Thug is going to be fried. And it's sad too, because the same partners that you were rocking with since the ground, trying to build them up to be successful rappers and people in the world, are now turning your back on you. And now you can't even do anything about it but just sit there and just be like, man, you just got to choose who you mess with, because those same people might not ride for you when it's time to actually ride for you. And that's what's going on in this YSL case. And it's interesting because he's the head of the whole thing. If you compare his case to 6ix9ine, 6ix9ine told on everybody. Thug is not telling on nobody, so obviously he's going to get the more charges if he gets found guilty, and he's going to serve the most time out of everybody because he's the leader of YSL. So I feel like with the YSL case, it has been getting a little dry lately, but there's a whole lot of evidence out there that can charge Young Thug with the RICO charge, and I just feel like he can just get all of these years in prison, no doubt about it. As sad as that is, because I'm one of the biggest, not the biggest, but I'm a big Young Thug fan. I like his songs. I like Relationships, My Future. I like Feel It. I like all the Surf. Like, I like that song. I like Lil Baby, like Diamonds, Digits, whole lot of songs that I like. What's the Move with him and Lil Uzi Vert? It's so many songs that I like by Thug, and the fact that the people that he surrounded himself by and that he tried to build up from the ground up, is just seeing them turn their backs on him, who he thought was his brothers, who he said in his songs countless of times that they his brothers, who he tried putting them on in the rap game. It's just sad to see the position that he is in, and seeing all these people just snitch on him, tell on him. That's the thing when it comes to doing that type of activity. If you do that activity, are you willing to ride for your brother and take the shit to the chin? Some people aren't. If you know that it's not meant for you, why would you do it? Why would you do it? To look cool? Because ain't no one gonna care. You ain't looking cool to nobody but the people that you around, who think that it's cool, but in reality it's not. So it's going to be interesting what ends up happening with Young Thug. I want him in some way break this case, beat this case some way, but I just don't see it happening. I just don't see it happening, y'all. There's too much evidence on him. Everybody telling on him, and he's just looking like, if you ever just go and just look at the case, I just want you to check out the case, even the early parts of the case. You could just tell the sadness and the, oh shit, I'm caught, like, face that he making. There was a video out there saying that the lawyer said to the judge that the facts presented was cap. Like, like a lawyer saying cap already doesn't even sound right. That's not even professional. You saying the evidence presented is cap. You wouldn't want no one to even say that. So right then and there, I just feel like Doug just lost. He already lost when Gunna took the Alfred plea, even though that is maintaining your innocence. But when the judge asked him, is YSL a gang and he knows about criminal activity, he said, yeah, right then and there, you already lost. And all your partners going to have to testify on you, because I know in the near future of this trial, they're going to bring him to testify against Young Thug. So I feel like there's just no way that he can beat it, but I honestly want him to beat it. Honest to God, I want him to beat it. You don't want to see all these rappers in jail. It's not what comes with rap. That's just a picture that they're trying to paint. That if you're a rapper, you gotta go to jail. There's rappers out here that have not went to jail. If you talk about the streets, you gotta go to jail on some shit. Like, what? There's more things that you can rap about, or if you do talk about the streets, that don't mean that you have to go to jail in order for you to be an actual real street nigga. Street dude. Because there's rappers out here that talk about the real, but haven't went to jail. Probably don't know about, probably do, that are out there right now that are like that, living like that, but they haven't went to jail. So, with that, I just really hope that if Thug does get out some way, shape, or form, now he knows who his brother is and who are going to ride for him when it's all said and done, who is not going to ride for him at all. Because he got kids that are influenced by him, adults influenced by him. His influence is big, especially with other rappers in the rap industry. Gunna, Lil Baby. If he wasn't helping Lil Baby probably wouldn't even be a rapper. If you ever saw the Untrapped documentary by Lil Baby, the Trapped documentary by Lil Baby, Thug said it. Thug ain't want him in the streets. He wanted him home. Go rap. Make some real bread. He was the influence. He was the person that Lil Baby needed to get big. So now that Thug is going to be gone, how is it going to affect Lil Baby? Because I know it's affecting him. I know it's affecting Gunna, but are people really going to mess with Gunna after the video came out that he snitched? There's going to be some that do, but there's going to be some that Gunna used to be cool with that now aren't cool with him because he snitched on Thug. Like Lil Baby. Lil Baby unfollowed him off Instagram. So it's going to be really interesting seeing what happens. But let's move on to someone that is in jail. Somebody that's just evil. Larry Nasser. Larry Nasser got stabbed in the back and in the neck while in prison. Lil Nasser was accused of sexual assault by over 300 women, only pleaded guilty to 10 counts back in 2017 and 2018. He was sentenced to 175 years in prison. So safe to say he is not getting out. Messing with gymnastic girls and women. Just evil. Just nasty. People like him that mess with young girls are just evil and they shouldn't get out. And here's my thing. Because, there's going to be some women out here that say that they're strong and they can do everything independent. But I'm here to tell you, I feel like no matter how strong a woman is, I feel like a man will always be stronger than a woman. I just feel like it will always be stronger than a woman. No matter what you can do, you can lift as much as you can, as you possibly can. But a man will always be stronger. So women aren't safe. You gotta have that male that can protect you. Because our jobs as males, individuals, to provide for women. That's our job as males, individuals, to provide. To provide and to make our women feel safe. If we don't make our women feel safe, why would they want to be with us if they don't feel safe? So if Larry Nasser, he can mess with young girls, and not even just him, any other of these pedophiles or other dudes out here that sexual assault women, sexually abuse them, obviously they can get their way because they're going to be stronger. You can fight all you want. You can try your hardest. Now, sometimes you can't escape, but there's other times where you just can't escape because he's just going to overpower you. A man is just going to overpower you. So for him to get stabbed in prison, you don't wish anything bad on nobody, but that is just something that he just deserved. Because that is nasty. That is utterly nasty that you can just sexually abuse these young women and young girls. Like, you can't get nothing your age. Like, I know with some of them it's mental problems, but still, like, it shouldn't be that much of a mental problem for you to just go out here and just sexually abuse all of these women. Like, over 300 women is crazy. Over 300 women is crazy. And the fact that he got only 10 counts of it, he's lucky. He is very lucky to only get 10 counts of abuse and sexual just assault. And like, that's very lucky. But he still got his 175, as he fully deserves, y'all. Fully deserves. Don't even have no remorse for what he has done. Like, he fully deserves all 175 years of it. Without question. Without question. And I just know with them type of criminals in prison, they're going to get the worst because you can overpower a female. And you're doing all this to females. With hurting females and hurting kids, I know those two charges right there, you're going to get the worst in prison. So I really just don't feel bad for him, not one bit. Not one bit. He was lucky to even stay alive. Hurting 300 women, are you crazy? Are you serious? Like, I just feel like that's crazy. With that being said, y'all, this is the final thing that I had to talk about. This is the last of this episode of the Truth Comes to Light podcast. If you have any podcast ideas, real spill ideas that you'll want me to talk about, I talk about Real Spill Wednesdays on Wednesday. But if you have any topics that you want me to talk about, please just give me a comment, like and subscribe this video, and I will be here every single time that I get a chance to provide a great podcast. I'm only going to get better at it, y'all. I'm only going to get better. But when I get better, y'all are going to be here for the whole ride. This is Jay Coven on the Truth Comes Light podcast. I love y'all. Y'all have a nice night.